What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to look at some lovely Digimon TCG news. There's fun stuff happening, ladies and gentlemen, and I, for one, am very excited about it. Including something we heard about a while ago, but now we've got details, and it sounds like fun. We've got a pre-release Digimon Cup. It's kind of like a pre-release / tournament for this upcoming Digimon. Now, they don't actually call it a starter deck. It is an advanced deck, even though it's got the number ST14. ST, of course, showing starter decks. So it's weird to me that they've called it ST14 like all the starter decks, but they are calling it an advanced deck, not a starter deck. And I get why they're calling it an advanced deck, because it is not like your average starter deck, is much more expensive, but it is also much cooler. But still, that doesn't matter, because we've got the Digimon Cup between the 17th and 23rd of March, and I, for one, am very, very excited. Here's what it says. A pre-release tournament for the advanced deck set ST14 Digimon Cup is here. This tournament is specially for purple decks only, so please note the following restrictions. Multicolour cards must have purple as one of the colours to be permitted. Single colour cards must be purple. This applies to Digi-Eggs, Tamers, and option cards. Join in on the fun of purple themed cards, and then check for restrictions, blah, blah, blah. So this is fun. And of course, we saw this before. We saw this over in Japan, again, around the release of the Digimon Advanced deck. They had the Magic Bullet Cup. If I remember correctly, it was called the Magic Bullet Cup. And this is basically the same thing, except it's way cooler. Okay, in a lot of ways, it's actually the same. Like the format being purple, and you can have dual color as long as they're purple, etc. That's actually all the same, right? But there's something else which is so much cooler, ladies and gentlemen. So much cooler. You see, we've got a similar kind of thing to what they had. So when you participate, you get the pre-release event participation card, Impmon. It is the Impmon from BT6. On play, you can trash a card from your hand, and if you do, return a Digimon card with 7 Great Demon Lords or 3 Musketeers in its type from your trash to your hand. Cool card, nice. But of course, I bring your attention to the stamp here, and the stamp is very important. It says Digimon Cup. But you might notice it's clearly exactly the same card as the promo Impmon they give out over in Japan, except that had the stamp of Magic Bullet Cup, and this has the stamp of Digimon Cup, but it's like, we all know it's the same thing here, right? Yeah, we all know it's the same thing. It's fine. And if you win, you get yourself Digimon. Digimon is your prize for winning here. And it's awesome. And again, it's got the Digimon Cup stamped on it, which is nice. And it's got a winner stamp on it, and you'll notice it's basically the same as the one we saw in Japan. And this is the EX2 Digimon. When this card is trashed from your deck, you may play an Impmon from your trash for free. And when digivolving or attacking, you can trash the top 2 cards of your deck. Then delete one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon. But for every 10 cards in your trash, you add one to the maximum level that you can choose with this effect. It's a cool card. But this is all to be expected. Now, there is one sad little thing, and that is, of course, that over in Japan, they were giving away promos for Yayamon as well. Oh, no, they're not giving that one away here. It doesn't look like, at least anyway. It's not shown on the website. But that doesn't matter, because we've got the Digimon Cup Participation Pack, which gets you 2 cards per pack. Now, if we go by what was on the distributor listings in advance, and we obviously don't know for certain, but if we go by that, then that means that essentially all of the cards that are in that advanced deck are all available with the pre-release stamp. Of course, at a regular pre-release, you're talking about uncommons and rares. But here, we're talking about all of them. Presumably, that would include the secret rare Digimon Blast Mode, or the secret rare Beelstarmon, or the secret rare Digimon. Yes, for anyone that is keeping track, there are 3 secret rares in this advanced deck. But like I keep telling you, lovely ladies and gentlemen, this might in reality, this is clearly a starter deck, but it's not really a starter deck, It is an advanced deck, and it's all kind of fancy. Oh, as a side note, and I could be wrong about this, do remember that there is a chase version of Bilzamon which can be gotten, well, at random in some of these decks. I would be absolutely stunned beyond belief if you could get a pre-release stamped version of that. It would be one of the coolest promos we've ever seen, but I think it's fair to assume that that's not going to be the case here. It would be awesome, but I do think that's a little bit over the top. So it's clear on the website they are, like with regular pre-releases, they're made for 8 people. Although obviously your store may have more than 8 people taking part, they would just essentially have multiple pods of 8. And there are 8 of the Impmon participation card, 1 for everyone. 8 of the 2 cards per pack pre-release promo pack, 1 for everyone. And then 1 of the Bilzamon winner card, which is obviously not for everyone, it's for the winner. Obviously. Good. But if you want to go all the way to the other side, if you want to go right round from pre-release to World Championships, well, I've got that one as well. We do have a bunch of information about the World Championships now. It is happening on the 11th, 12th and 18th of March. Best of 3, 90 minutes plus 10-minute overtime, except for the finals where there is no time limit. And that's got to make sense, right? You cannot have the World Championship finals timing out. That would just be weird at this stage. Nah, ladies and gentlemen, we don't want that. So that's quite nice. Like, as a caster, untimed games make me a little bit nervous, purely because sometimes they can go on a very long time. I don't know how many of you have casted card games. I've casted a bunch. Sometimes very long games in any TCG can get a little bit repetitive because both players, especially at a high level, they kind of know what they're doing. They know what the plan is. So that means that both players are trying to do the same thing in like 3 games, which could go on for hours, and you do kind of a little bit run out of what you're talking about a little bit. Sorry about that. Now, the good news is everyone who participates gets a Doraemon promo card. This is the one from BT7. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add a card with X antibody illustrates and a code to the Moto among them to your hand. Put the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. It's cool. We like this. Oh, yeah, and you get yourself a World Championship participation playmat, which is absolutely stunning. Obviously, we've got the dual artwork there of Agumon and Gabumon. Come on, you know the ones. And it's a beautiful playmat. And bearing in mind that there aren't many people that get to play at the World Championships. It's not hundreds like in some games. So these are going to be very sought after playmats. If you make your way to 3rd place, you also get yourself a Doragoramon promo. That is the one again from BT7. While you have another Digimon in play with X antibody in its traits, or a card of X antibody in its traits in this Digimon's Digivolution card, you gain blocker. And as an inheritable skill, while this Digimon has X antibody in its traits, you gain 1,000 power, which is nice. We then go up to 2nd place, where you get yourself a Dorogreymon. Now, this is the one that actually got restricted for being absolutely nuts, because when Digivolving, you can place a black card with X antibody and its traits from your hand to the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, which will then also prevent effects from deleting or reducing its DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. And it's got an inheritable skill that if you got X antibody in your traits, you gain security attack +1. Yeah, it was too good. They had to restrict it. But what if you win the whole thing? What if you win Worlds? You get 1 prize, according to the website. Exactly 1 prize. It's this Alphamon. But you know what? It's the Alphamon you get for winning Worlds. It's a secret rare from BT6. As a security skill, at the end of the battle, you add the card to your hand. And then if a Digimon with Royal Knight or X antibody in its type is in play, up to 12 of your opponent's Digimon cannot attack players for the turn. When attacking, you can pay up to 5 memory, and if you do, you get an extra 1,000 power for the turn for each memory paid, and at the end of your attack, you gain 2 memory. I know it's never going to happen, but I really, really want the World Champion to play this card in a deck, in a tournament, because that will amuse me. I mean, don't. This is going to be one of the most sought after cards in the history of the Digimon TCG. Actually putting it in a deck would be ridiculous and not a very sensible thing to do, but it would be pretty cool nonetheless. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have World Championships that are happening. That's not for most people, I'm going to be honest with you, but we do also have pre-releases happening for Starter Deck 14, which are for everybody, and they look awesome. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Have some fun with that. Tell me what you think about it in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.